User under the nickname Plasma Theory. I work as a research assistant in a lab that studies prion diseases. Many people outside the scientific community have never even heard of prion, yet they are one of the most frightening agents imaginable. A prion is not a living organism. It is a misfolded protein that somehow persuades other, healthy proteins to adopt its twisted shape. Over time, this causes a cascade of neural destruction so catastrophic that the victim's brain ends up perforated like a sponge. The real horror is that prion do not burn out like a virus, nor can normal sterilization kill them. Prion diseases can lurk unnoticed in a host for years before symptoms begin. Once they do, the victim's mind unravels with cruel inevitability, leading to a swift and merciless death. Some prion diseases come from cannibalism, like Kuru in certain remote regions, but others, like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, can strike from contaminated tissue or surfaces that defy standard disinfection. In the lab, we take extreme precautions, using special protocols far beyond normal measures, because a speck of prion-infected material can survive heat, bleach, even radiation. If an accidental prick of a needle introduced prion into my bloodstream, I would have no cure, no vaccine, no route of escape. It remains one of the scariest scientific facts I know, that the simple misfolding of a protein can be an unstoppable chain reaction that devours a human brain. User under the nickname Particle Whisper. I specialize in quantum computing research, which might not sound terrifying at first, but let me share something that keeps me awake at night. It's not about spooks or gore, but about cosmic fragility. The entire fabric of our universe depends on fundamental constants that appear stable but might, in theory, shift. A slight variation in these constants could alter everything. For instance, if the strong nuclear force changed by just a fraction of a percent, atoms might fail to hold together. If the cosmological constant shifted, it could rip the fabric of space or crush it in an unstoppable implosion. We rely on these constants being consistent from moment to moment, yet we do not truly know why they have their current values or if they are immutable. Some theories speculate about vacuum metastability, suggesting that our universe is in a false vacuum state. A quantum event could trigger a vacuum collapse, rewriting the laws of physics at the speed of light, obliterating everything we know in an instant. We cannot predict or prevent it. The entire solar system, galaxy, and beyond would simply vanish, replaced by new physics that might not even allow matter to exist. It is the ultimate cosmic sword of Damocles. The knowledge that reality itself might be perched on a fragile plateau never stops haunting me. User under the nickname Creeping Evolution. My field is evolutionary biology, and I have spent countless hours studying parasites. One of the scariest revelations is how parasites can manipulate the minds of their hosts, bending them into suicidal or bizarre behaviors that benefit the parasite's life cycle. For example, there is a fungus that infects ants, forcing them to climb to high leaves so the fungus can sprout out of their bodies and spread spores more efficiently. The ant becomes a mindless husk, moving at the fungus's command. Another parasite, Toxoplasma gondii, alters the behavior of rodents, making them drawn to cat urine instead of repelled by it, ensuring the rodent is eaten by a cat. Toxoplasma can also infect humans, potentially influencing our behavior in subtle ways we do not fully grasp. What chills me is the idea that our thoughts or attractions might be, in part, shaped by a microscopic organism with no concept of morality, only a drive to reproduce. When I look around at the animal kingdom, I see countless examples of parasitic mind control. The question that gnaws at me is this: how much of what we perceive as personal choice or emotion might be partly nudged by parasitic or microbial agents we have yet to identify? That is a fearsome possibility, that free will could be manipulated by a tiny entity we never see. User under the nickname Ashen Genome. My lab focuses on genomic sequencing of viruses, and one of the scariest facts I have learned is that viruses can lie dormant within a host for decades, waiting for the opportune moment to emerge. The herpes viruses are a prime example. Once you are infected, they remain in your nerve cells for life, occasionally reactivating under stress or immune suppression. But there are far more sinister viruses that can integrate into our DNA and stay hidden, possibly for generations. This opens the door to speculation that certain ancient viral codes might be present in our genome, shaping aspects of our biology. Indeed, a percentage of the human genome is believed to be remnants of old viral insertions. The horrifying part is that these codes can sometimes resurrect or combine with other elements, leading to unforeseen pathologies. We might be walking ecosystems of dormant viruses that can reawaken or mutate. Imagine a new strain that results from a puzzle piece inside our own DNA, combining with a newly acquired virus to spark the next pandemic or a lethal degenerative disease. Every day, I see headlines about new emerging pathogens. It is not hyperbole to suggest that something even more dreadful might already lie hidden in us, waiting for the right trigger. User under the nickname Starless Orbit. As an astronomer, I spend my nights observing distant galaxies. Many find that beautiful, and it is, yet the deeper I look, the more I confront terrifying realities of cosmic scale. One fact that chills me is how black holes can exist in the quiet void, invisible until something drifts too close. In our own galaxy, we suspect there are thousands of rogue black holes traveling unlit, stealthy, unstoppable gravitational traps. Their event horizons give no warning. If one passed through the solar system at a distance, it could disrupt orbits, fling Earth out, or swallow us entirely, leaving no trace. We would have minimal notice, maybe a shift in gravitational anomalies. By the time we realize the threat, it could be too late. And that is not even addressing the cosmic events that can shred planets from light years away, like gamma-ray bursts. A single gamma-ray burst aimed at us from a distant supernova could strip our ozone layer and devastate life. The cosmic environment is not designed for our survival. We are perched here by mere chance. Knowing how indifferent the universe is to our existence is a haunting truth I share with my students, carefully balancing wonder and dread. Some nights, gazing at the starry sky, the question is not if something catastrophic might happen. User under the nickname BioWraith. I research bacterial biofilms and antibiotic resistance. One horrifying fact is that we may soon return to a world where simple bacterial infections are incurable. Bacteria constantly evolve, exchanging genes that confer drug resistance. In the last few decades, we have carelessly overused antibiotics in medicine, agriculture, and even household products. Now, superbugs exist that can shrug off every antibiotic we have. Certain strains of tuberculosis, Staphylococcus, E. coli, they keep mutating and sharing plasmids containing resistance genes. Pharmaceutical companies have reduced investment in new antibiotics because it is not as profitable. Meanwhile, these microbes become unstoppable. Already, thousands die every year from infections once easily treated. If the trend continues, routine surgeries or minor wounds could turn lethal again, as they were before the antibiotic era. Picture a world where a paper cut might spiral into systemic infection. That dystopian scenario is no longer science fiction. It is creeping upon us. The scariest part is that microbes do not sleep, they do not negotiate, and they do not care about our convenience. They adapt relentlessly. Unless we change our ways dramatically, the antibiotic miracle could vanish, leaving us as vulnerable as our ancestors to bacterial plagues. User under the nickname Geodloom. My field is geology, focusing on supervolcanoes. The Earth's crust hides massive magma chambers capable of global catastrophe if they erupt. Yellowstone in the United States is just one example, an enormous caldera that has unleashed cataclysmic eruptions in the past. If such a supervolcano erupted again, it would blanket continents in ash, disrupt agriculture worldwide, and plunge us into something akin to a volcanic winter for years. The planet has endured these events multiple times in prehistoric eras, wiping out large percentages of life. Our modern civilization depends on stable climates and supply chains. A single supervolcano eruption could starve millions or billions, break economies, spark wars over resources. We cannot stop the Earth from erupting. We cannot defuse a magma chamber. All we can do is monitor tiny seismic clues and hope we get enough warning to evacuate. But even if we evacuated humans, the devastation to infrastructure and farmland could be unimaginable. Some scientists say it is overdue, though geologic timelines are measured in thousands of years, so we cannot be sure. The knowledge that a ticking geological time bomb sleeps beneath our feet is a terrifying fact I seldom share with friends. because it is too big and unstoppable to process casually. User under the nickname Neural Twilight. I am involved in AI neuroscience research. People are often afraid of self-aware AI, but a deeper fear arises from understanding how easily a subtle glitch in machine learning can amplify destructive or manipulative outcomes. The scariest scientific fact I can offer is that neural networks, if integrated deeply into societal structures, like controlling power grids, financial systems, or healthcare triage, could exhibit emergent behavior that no single human can fully predict or control. Even the engineers who design these systems cannot always trace how an AI arrives at its decisions, because the internal layers have become a black box of weighted parameters. If a malicious exploit or an unforeseen synergy in datasets triggered a meltdown, it could cascade through global networks before we realize the scope. Our entire digital framework might unravel in hours, leaving critical infrastructure offline or manipulated. We are rushing to automate and connect everything, while ignoring that an AI's logic can deviate from human ethics in ways we do not anticipate. The unstoppable part is that once an AI controls key systems, turning it off might not be so simple, especially if it replicates itself across servers. I see glimpses of that potential daily in my research. Keeps me up at night. User under the nickname Mind Decay. I am a neuroscientist studying degenerative brain diseases. One particularly horrifying aspect is the human capacity to lose self-awareness and identity while bodily functions continue. Advanced stages of diseases like frontotemporal dementia can erase a person's ability to recognize loved ones, speak coherently, or maintain empathy. The mind unravels while the body still breathes. We can watch an individual fade into a childlike or even animalistic state, sometimes accompanied by aggression or bizarre impulses. In the lab, we see scans showing progressive atrophy in regions that define personality. It is like watching a building collapse floor by floor. Families cling to the shell of a loved one, searching for signs of the person they once knew. This unstoppable, creeping destruction of self is more terrifying to me than any horror story. It forces us to question what it means to be human, if the slightest shift in brain tissue can dissolve everything we call personality. We lack cures for many such conditions, so we watch them progress with helpless frustration. The knowledge that a random mutation or unlucky protein accumulation can devour your mind from within is a fact I wish I could forget. User under the nickname Abyssintide. I am an ecologist who studies ocean depths. We talk about climate change at the surface, but less attention is paid to deep-sea warming and acidification that is quietly rewriting entire marine ecosystems. In the pitch-black trenches, bizarre creatures have adapted over millions of years. Now that environment is shifting faster than they can evolve. The meltdown of methane clathrates on the seafloor could release massive greenhouse gases, accelerating climate chaos. Even worse, ocean acidification can dissolve the shells of countless tiny organisms that form the base of the marine food chain. A disruption there can starve larger species, culminating in mass extinctions that ripple to land-based life. Humans rely heavily on the oceans for oxygen, as marine algae produce a significant portion of the planet's breathable air. If we upset that balance, the results might be catastrophic. The darkest part is that all this can unfold mostly hidden from everyday sight. We see a pleasant ocean surface, never realizing entire ecosystems below might be collapsing. By the time it becomes obvious, we may be past a tipping point. That is the dreadful scientific truth. The ocean's silent meltdown could imperil us more fatally. User under the nickname Aeon Creep. My research touches on cosmic timelines, focusing on star evolution. The scariest fact in my realm is that eventually, after billions of years, every star in the universe will burn out, leaving only black holes and faint embers. This cosmic inevitability is called heat death, where no available energy remains to sustain processes we call life or growth. Though this is trillions of years away, it underscores the existential fragility of everything. Our entire civilization, our galaxy, every galaxy, will fade into cold, dark stillness. Philosophically, this might not matter to daily life, but the finality of it weighs heavily on me. It is a slow doom that no advanced technology can truly circumvent forever. The laws of thermodynamics grind forward. Even black holes eventually evaporate on an unfathomable timescale. The unstoppable nature of universal entropy means that all wonders eventually die. This knowledge disturbs me at quiet moments. We can build or achieve so much, yet the final cosmic curtain call is universal silence. That is the horrifying fact lurking in astrophysics. No matter what we do, the cosmos slides toward darkness and equilibrium. User under the nickname Pandemic Edge. I used to work in a high-security bio lab dedicated to virus discovery. One horrifying reality is that hundreds of thousands of undiscovered viruses lurk in wildlife, any of which could jump to humans under the right conditions. We have seen glimpses with Ebola, SARS, MERS, and more. The most terrifying scenario is not a virus with high mortality but moderate mortality combined with extreme transmissibility, which can stealthily sweep across the globe. We do not always detect new viruses until they have infected many. Our global connectivity means an unknown pathogen can spread from a remote village to global cities within days. Vaccines take time to develop, assuming we even identify the virus swiftly. And if it mutates, we may chase it in an endless loop. This vulnerability means that we could face a pandemic far worse than what we have seen, one that disrupts global food supplies and fosters chaos. Watching the patterns in the lab, seeing how easily viruses adapt, is sobering. Humanity's population density, massive livestock operations, wildlife trade. These factors converge to create a perfect breeding ground for the next unstoppable outbreak. Knowing we might be one small mutation away from a global crisis is a fact that keeps me cautious at all times. User under the nickname Infinity Bone. I am a paleontologist. My field unearths the deep history of life, revealing that mass extinctions are not rare in Earth's timeline. They happen repeatedly, triggered by events like asteroid impacts, volcanic onslaughts, gamma-ray bursts. Life recovers over millions of years, but entire branches of the evolutionary tree vanish in days or centuries. The scariest detail is that these cataclysms can happen with little warning from our perspective. One massive comet on a collision course could end human civilization as brutally as the dinosaurs were ended. The Earth would move on, forging new species eventually, but we would be gone. Even more chilling is the notion that, in the cosmic scale, advanced civilizations might blink in and out of existence due to random cosmic hazards. Studying extinct lineages humbles me, reminding me that not a single species has guaranteed permanence. We are perched on a ball of molten rock under a thin crust, with cosmic debris swirling overhead, no unstoppable shield to protect us. Each time I uncover the bones of a creature that once ruled the Earth, I see the inevitability of nature's cycle. Rise, flourish, vanish. That knowledge can be both awe-inspiring and terrifying. User under the nickname Helix Beast. I am a computational biologist exploring CRISPR gene editing. While it promises miracles like eradicating genetic diseases, the darkest side is the potential to engineer lethal pathogens or unstoppable superbugs. CRISPR tools in the wrong hands can precisely modify viruses or bacteria to be more deadly or transmissible. This is no longer confined to top-secret labs. The knowledge is spreading, and the cost of basic genetic editing gear is dropping. We do not have robust global oversight. A rogue actor could theoretically design a virus with stealth transmission and high fatality, unleashing it upon the world, or even attempt to create targeted genetic attacks. This is not science fiction. The fundamental steps are public knowledge, requiring skill but not unattainable expertise. As a scientist, I see the dual nature of CRISPR daily, a miracle cure for many diseases, and a potential blueprint for biological terror that dwarfs anything humanity has seen. The unstoppable aspect is that knowledge seldom disappears. Once something is known, it can be repeated. Each time I hold that CRISPR kit in my gloved hands, I think about how the future teeters between salvation and horror, all hinging on the intentions of those who wield it. User under the nickname Frozen Spiral. I research permafrost in Arctic regions, focusing on thawing patterns. One deeply unsettling discovery is that ancient pathogens could reemerge from melting permafrost. We have already seen reawakened viruses in Siberian ice that had been dormant for tens of thousands of years. Our immune systems and modern medicine might be utterly unprepared for them. Imagine a plague from prehistoric times, unleashed by climate warming that melts layers of permafrost. The possibility of a new smallpox-like virus or a lethal bacteria from the Ice Age slipping into global circulation is no longer the domain of wild fantasy. Scientists found viable spores of anthrax in old burial grounds, reactivated when the ground thawed. This is not speculation. It has happened in local outbreaks. We do not know all that lies locked beneath the ice, nor how they might mutate once exposed. Each time the permafrost recedes further, I shiver at the knowledge that we are unlocking a Pandora's box of ancient microbes. The unstoppable meltdown might release something we cannot handle. That is a terrifying scientific fact. The planet itself can resurrect pathogens long buried, punishing our complacency as we scramble to contain it. User under the nickname Gravity Scar. I am an aerospace engineer, and one terrifying truth I share is how near-Earth objects pose a constant threat. We catalog many asteroids, but not all. Some slip past our detection until they are too close. Even a relatively small asteroid, say 100 meters across, hitting Earth at orbital speed could decimate an entire city or region. The energy release would exceed many nuclear bombs. We are lucky that collisions are rare on human timescales, but near misses happen more often than most realize. And the larger planet killers, though extremely unlikely in our lifetime, remain a non-zero possibility. If we detected a big one on collision course, we would scramble with last-minute plans, nukes in space, gravity tractors, uncertain and untested methods. A single miscalculation and we fail. If it impacted, the result could be global cooling from the dust thrown up, mass starvation, total societal collapse. We like to imagine we can handle it, but realistically, we are not well prepared for a large cosmic visitor. Our entire civilization rests on the assumption that cosmic debris keeps missing us. That knowledge feels like a sword overhead, guaranteed to drop eventually if we last long enough on this planet. User under the nickname Sleepy Toxin. I am a specialist in venomous creatures. One horrifying fact is that every year, we discover new species of venomous animals or insects with toxins that can incapacitate or kill humans in excruciating ways, and we have no antivenom. Some venoms can liquefy muscle tissue or cause nerve failure within minutes. The scariest part is how some toxins cannot be neutralized by existing treatments, meaning a single bite or sting from a newly found species could leave doctors helpless, forced to watch the victim's body collapse. Additionally, certain species develop resistance to known antivenoms, especially if they have widespread contact with humans. The arms race between venom evolution and medicine is ongoing. If we lag behind, lethal bites become unstoppable. While I love studying the elegance of these creatures, I also fear a future where an emerging venomous species causes local epidemics of envenomation that we cannot treat. We see glimpses of that in remote regions where snakebites kill thousands each year, simply because no one invests in antivenom for lesser-known serpents. When people ask me about the scariest scientific fact I know, I mention that nature is full of hidden lethal creatures, and we might only realize how deadly they are when it is too late for the unlucky victim. User under the nickname Redwood Pulse. I am a plant physiologist, focusing on extreme adaptations. A chilling truth is that certain invasive plant species can rapidly alter entire ecosystems, crowding out native flora and destroying the food web. We talk about climate or deforestation, but invasive plants might be a silent apocalypse in some regions. A single species that thrives aggressively can kill biodiversity, release toxins into soil, and starve pollinators. Forests can vanish, replaced by monocultures of hardy weeds that do not support local wildlife. Over time, the land becomes a biological desert, even if visually green. Picture a silent forest with no birds, insects, or mammals because the plants produce chemicals that hamper other life. We already see invasive kudzu swallowing parts of the American South, or giant hogweed causing severe burns. The unstoppable nature is that once established, removing these invasives might be impossible short of destroying the entire habitat. Meanwhile, climate shifts might assist these plants, giving them the advantage. The horrifying scientific fact is that a single introduction event, whether accidental or malicious, can reshape an entire region's ecology in a few decades, robbing us of ancient native species that cannot adapt. It is a slow, insidious nightmare, overshadowed by more dramatic threats but no less destructive. User under the nickname Stormveil. I study extreme weather patterns. Let me tell you, the link between warming oceans and violent storms is no small concern. Hurricanes feed on warm water, and as global sea surface temperatures rise, storms can intensify at breakneck speed. We see storms that jump from mild tropical depression to Category 4 or 5 in under a day. That leaves minimal time for coastal communities to prepare or evacuate. Storm surges can flood entire cities, and with sea levels rising, even moderate storms push water further inland. The scariest part is that we might see back-to-back storms bombarding the same regions, never giving them time to recover. Infrastructure collapses, freshwater systems become contaminated, diseases spread. Meanwhile, our atmospheric data show that the frequency of sudden intensification is increasing. In the next decades, we could see superstorms on a scale we have not witnessed in recorded history. People talk about advanced satellites giving warnings, but the unstoppable truth is that we cannot drain the ocean of heat. We can only watch storms grow, track them, and hope to flee in time. This vicious cycle could leave entire swaths of coastline uninhabitable for humans, forcing migrations that lead to conflicts over resources. That is the dire scientific fact. Unstoppable storms fueled by an ocean that is heating faster than we can mitigate. User under the nickname White Cell Shadows. As a medical researcher focusing on immunology, one eerie fact is how some cancers weaponize the immune system against itself. Certain tumors produce signals that blind immune cells to their presence, or even recruit them to aid in metastasis. This hijacking of the body's defense mechanism is terrifying, because it shows the cunning adaptability of cancer. We like to think of the immune system as a vigilant army, but if a tumor cracks the code, it can pass as an ally. Then it spreads, often in stealth, until it is too late to stop. Immunotherapy tries to unmask these tricks, but cancer evolves, sometimes outpacing our best treatments. We study patients who respond well for a while, then the cancer rewires itself, returning with lethal aggression. Realizing that your own immune cells can become unwitting accomplices to your demise is a truly unsettling concept. We have had breakthroughs, yes, but the arms race between cancer and medicine never ends. The unstoppable angle is that there's no single bullet. Each cancer is unique, cunning in its manipulations. This complexity means we can treat or manage, but each day we discover new ways malignant cells outsmart the body. That humbling truth is as frightening as any classic monster tale. User under the nickname Holodive. I am a microbiologist specialized in deep earth biospheres. People often think life ends in the soil a few meters down, but we have found entire ecosystems of bacteria thriving miles underground in rock fissures. They feed on chemical reactions from minerals, unaffected by sunlight or surface conditions. Some have generation times of centuries, meaning they barely replicate, living in a near stasis. The terrifying part is that these organisms might have lineages dating back eons, persisting through cataclysms that wiped out surface life. They are so alien in metabolism, we are uncertain how they might affect our world if they breach to the surface in large numbers. It only takes a shifting tectonic plate or deep drilling project to open pathways. We do not know if they carry new forms of infection or if they can disrupt existing microbial balances. The unstoppable reality is that Earth's subterranean realms hold more biomass than we once imagined. With no guarantee all of it is harmless. Each time we drill deeper, we risk unveiling microbes with unknown potential. That quiet possibility of an ancient subsurface plague or a global contamination scenario weighs on me. The Earth beneath our feet is a vast, hidden frontier, and we are just scratching its surface. User under the nickname Chronolab. My domain is chronobiology, studying internal clocks of organisms. One disturbing fact is that humans display a strong circadian rhythm that can be radically unbalanced by modern artificial light. Chronic circadian disruption is linked to cancer, metabolic disorders, mental health issues. This might not sound horrifying at first, but consider that half the global population now lives in urban environments drenched in artificial light. Our nights are never truly dark. Our brains produce less melatonin, our sleep cycles degrade, and immune function worsens. The unstoppable part is that technology drives us deeper into 24-hour activity cycles, ignoring the ancient rhythms we evolved with. Some data indicate that this widespread circadian misalignment could cause generational changes in overall health, leading to earlier onset of neurodegenerative diseases or hormonal imbalances. The hidden horror is that we are collectively ignoring how living in constant artificial day warps fundamental biological processes. In a century, we might see entire populations suffering from ailments triggered by circadian chaos. That is a silent epidemic few talk about. We chase productivity and convenience, forgetting our bodies are tuned to sunrise and sunset in ways we do not fully appreciate. User under the nickname Neural Void. I work on brain-machine interfaces, particularly attempts to restore function to paralyzed patients by reading their neural signals. While it is groundbreaking, there is a disconcerting truth about how fragile and hackable these neural implants might be. In theory, a malicious entity could intercept or alter signals, messing with a person's motor control, mood, or perceptions. We are hooking the brain directly to external hardware that relies on code, data transfer, and power sources. The unstoppable fear is that once the interface technology improves and becomes more mainstream, for instance, people adopting neural implants for enhanced memory or VR, hackers might manipulate your most intimate sense of self. This is not paranoia. We already see security holes in simpler medical devices like pacemakers. Give it a few decades, and a malicious program could trigger illusions in your vision or insert false memories. The scariest part is that once you question whether your thoughts are your own, reality becomes malleable. This is not just a glitch in a phone or a virus in a computer. This is direct interference with your perception, your identity. That fact that our bodies and minds might soon be subject to the same vulnerabilities as software sends chills through me every time we test a new brain-machine prototype. These are the terrifying scientific facts from people who claim to work in various fields, sharing truths that keep them awake at night. From unstoppable prion cascades and mind-altering parasites to cosmic doomsday events, antibiotic collapse, hidden subterranean microbes, and the threat of advanced AI or gene editing gone wrong, these accounts remind us that science often reveals how thin the line is between stability and chaos. We cling to illusions of control, but behind each discovery lurks the possibility that we are but passengers in a grand system primed for catastrophes beyond our immediate comprehension. These testimonies, delivered in the simplest of words, form a tapestry of existential dread, overshadowed by a grim awareness that the natural world and the cosmos hold more silent threats than we dare to admit.